Right, once again, good evening. Welcome to tonight's forum on Know Your Number. Our objective tonight for this forum is first to know the purpose of a life insurance policy and why every person needs to get it. That's number one. Second objective is we will be debunking 5 misconceptions of getting an insurance policy. So these are mostly mga 5 objections why one would not get one. Thirdly, we would know what is the ideal amount of coverage and how much percentage of income should be allotted for insurance policy. We will also be uncovering the difference between term insurance and what we are offering, the VUL, or what is normally known as variable universal life, or in short, because it is insurance with investment, we call it InsurAvest. Okay, so primarily, let's talk about the history of insurance. Din nagsugod ang insurance. Way back ancient Rome, a Roman military leader named Caius Marius created a burial club. The intention is basically, if ever, for example, na mamatay nga kauban nila sa ilahang grupo during the war, everyone or every member of that burial club will contribute. But it's basically murag ilahang way of para ma-lessen ang burden sa nahibilin nga family sa namatay nga kauban nila. There was also a story about Chinese vessels. Let's say, for example, we are five merchants. And every year, there will be a vessel kuhaon good o barguhon good of pirates. So what these 5 Chinese merchants did is that, for example, the cost of one vessel is 1 million. They will just divide sa 5 of them ang cost sa usa ka ship or usa ka trade ba. Then ilahatong ilain every year. So for example, in this very simple computation, 1 million divided by 5, so that's 200,000 pesos if it's in pesos. What they did is that if naay ship, kung sila kibaw, 15 mapirata, at least naay ready nga another 1 million or naay ready nga 1 million cash for that merchant owner nga makapalit na pod or makapabarog na pod or makaimo na pod og barko to trade. So in the Philippines, it was in 1898, so inana na siya kadugay. I don't know if you know that. It is in 1898 when the first insurance company was introduced in the Philippines, and it is Life of Canada. However, ang Pro-Life nakasulod sa Philippines last 1996. Okay, and I'll give you a brief background of our company.
On behalf of the Prudential Assurance Company, it is my very pleasant duty to welcome you here today.
The face of prudence, an iconic image, known by millions around the world, and representing our company, a company with over 165 years of history. Our powerful brand is well known and highly regarded. We've come a long way. But to really understand the present, we must first understand our past. 1848. Industrialization is sweeping across Europe, bringing both uncertainty and opportunity for all classes. There's a demand for better workers' rights. People are looking for a sense of security. And in this year, on the 30th of May, a group of Victorian gentlemen respond to these turbulent times by forming the Prudential Mutual Assurance Investment and Loan Association. Its aim, to infix habits of prudence among many individuals. To represent the values of the business, the figure of prudence is adopted as the symbol of the company. To this day, she still carries her arrow, signifying strength of purpose, serpent, the ancient symbol of wisdom, and mirror, representing self-awareness. 1854. the company widens its reach by opening its industrial branch, introducing a new concept: penny policies for the industrial working class population. To build the business, the company introduces a new breed of salesmen who travel door to door armed with statistics and tables, the men from the Pru. And with this new market, sales grow dramatically. 1871. The company is the first in the City of London to employ women as clerks. Through the 1870s, the company grows considerably. In 1873, there are 47 agents. By 1888, there are 10,609. By 1879, the company has outgrown its premises at Ludgate Hill and moves into the striking, purpose-built Holborn Bars headquarters. By 1898, Prudential has become the #1 life company in the United Kingdom, with almost £30 million in accumulated funds. It's now at the heart of everyday life. Nearly 1 in 3 households has a policy with the Pru. April 14th, 1912. SS Titanic sinks on its maiden voyage. Prudential promptly pays out claims on 292 passengers. Hardly any disaster could occur without Prudential in some way providing security to the deprived and bereft. By the end of the First World War, Prudential has paid claims representing almost a third of the British soldiers killed. In 1919, Prudential offers general insurance for the first time, which enables the company to start an extraordinary international expansion. In India, in 1923, the first overseas life branch is established, with the first policy being sold to a tea planter in Assam. The business soon covered the whole of the subcontinent, with offices in Bombay, Calcutta, Ceylon, and Delhi. In 1924, Prudential expands to Malaysia, and by 1931, a branch is established in Raffles Square, Singapore. By 1939, Prudential's overseas business is rivaling the success of its UK operations. By the end of the Second World War, Prudential has paid £5.5 million in claims on nearly 110,000 deaths. 1949, the famous Man from the Pru advertising campaign is launched. 1967, 12 million people watched the first ever Prudential commercials on British television. The Man from the Pru is truly established as a household name.
Talk it over with the man from the Prudential.
Throughout the 70s and 80s, Prudential continues to grow and respond to customers' changing needs. In 1986, Prudential gains a firm foothold in the United States, the world's largest life insurance and retirement savings market, with the acquisition of Jackson National Life Insurance Company. With 78 million baby boomers reaching retirement over the next 20 years, Jackson is well placed to help them meet their needs for retirement income. 1994 is a milestone year as Prudential, recognizing the high potential for growth and expansion across Asia, establishes Prudential Corporation Asia. The regional head office in Hong Kong sets out to expand operations beyond Malaysia, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Businesses are soon established in Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines. In the UK in 1999, Prudential strengthens the group's investment management opportunities with the acquisition of fund managers M&G. M&G itself has a long history of innovation. In 1931, the company launched the first ever unit trust in the United Kingdom. Over the next 12 years, Prudential is to become the leading international life insurer in Asia, expanding into 13 markets and meeting the savings and protection needs of a fast-growing middle class across the region. Prudential has established strong distribution channels, including partnerships with banks across the region and an extensive network of trained agents. 2012, Prudential's Asia Asset Management business, one of the leading fund managers in the region, is rebranded as East Spring Investments, paving the way for its expansion into the US in the same year. In the United Kingdom, Prudential is a leading life and pensions provider to around 7 million customers, with a focus on pensions, saving and investments. Prudential now has around 24 million insurance customers, over 26,000 employees, more than 400,000 agents in Asia, 4 stock exchange listings in London, Hong Kong, New York and Singapore, and more than £400 billion of assets under management. We've come a long way, not only with the expansion of our business, but also our work in giving back to the communities we live and work in. Today, Prudential is a company with a broader scope, a wider geographic spread, and greater investment power than could ever have been imagined in 1848. But our founding principles of integrity, security, and prudence still guide us in promoting long-term financial security for our customers and building social and economic value in our communities around the world.
You might wonder ba, how come Prudential man ang gimension sa video, then we are Pro-Life UK in the Philippines? I just would like to stress this difference. We're supposed to register Prudential in the Philippines. Unfortunately, there are already companies ba nga already bearing the name Prudential. So Prudential Corporation Asia decided that in the Philippines, we will register as Pro-Life UK. So if you go to Hong Kong, if you go to Vietnam, if you go to the UK, we are Prudential there. Pero we are not in anyhow related with other Prudential companies in the Philippines. Pro-Life UK today is the largest agency force in the country with more than 37,000 coded financial advisors. And just last year, in 2020, and during the pandemic, we emerged as the #1 insurance company or life insurance company based on first-year premium. And to give you the exact details, can you imagine in just 1 year, we've sold a total of 7.9 billion in premiums from our customers. Kunya, ang katong pinakauna nga insurance company in the Philippines. So now we go to the question, why get an insurance policy?
Life insurance is a contract between an insurer and a policyholder in which the insurer guarantees payment of a death benefit to the named beneficiaries upon the death of the insured. To put it simply, you pay a sum of money called the premium to the insurer, and when you pass away, your beneficiaries, usually your family members, get a lump sum of money called the death benefit. Now the next question is, should you buy a life insurance? You should buy a life insurance if you have anyone who may depend on you for financial support. For example, your kids or elderly parents. However, if there is no one that requires you to support financially, then life insurance is not required. Now let's take a look at a typical example on life insurance. We have John, a 50-year-old sole breadwinner of a family with a wife and 2 lovely kids. Like most families, John has a property on mortgage, 20,000 kept aside in cash, and the same amount he owes to a creditor in debt of $20,000. Now, if one day when John passed away, his estate would have to be distributed, firstly, his 20,000 cash set aside might be taken away by his creditor. Secondly, because he's the only one working in the family, his property on mortgage might be taken away as well. This leaves his wife and kids with no shelter and no money to survive. His kids might also be in college and will be deprived of the needed funds for education. But wait, can all these problems be avoided if and only if John had a little life insurance? Now, let's take a look at what happens if John did purchase a life insurance policy. If John did purchase a life insurance, his commitment will be to set aside a portion of his income and give it as premium to XYZ Insurance Company. Upon John's death, XYZ Insurance Company will provide John's family a lump sum that is called the death benefit, which will go to his family. Now, this lump sum of money can be used to pay off his mortgage loan, his family's expenses, and in most jurisdictions, this sum of money is being protected from his creditors. his children now also have the required money to go into college. Now you see why life insurance is important.
Okay. So as we start life, we are here under poverty. So what does that mean? From 0 to 20, while we are still studying, dependent on our parents, we don't have money on our own. However, as we progress life, as we start working, as we start earning for ourselves, we are now trying to push this what we call ball of life upwards to what we call the next stage of poverty, which is comfortable. We can now eat 3 times a day, right? We can now go to fast food chains every week, okay, because you are working, okay, and trying to do this for your family. However, as we progress, as we earn more, get promoted, we might somehow push our family's lifestyle to the luxurious stage. That is because somebody or you are doing everything to increase the lifestyle of your family. Now, what about if we take out this person? What will happen now to this ball of life? Of course, it will crash down your family, not to the poverty level, but to its lowest level, which is charity. Somebody who is the breadwinner taken away from the picture, what would happen to the lifestyle of the family? Say, for example, the wife is not working, just taking care of the children. She cannot earn the way her husband earned. So what will happen is that instead of before, makakaon pa og 3 times a day, so they will fall directly to charity from relatives. I believe you've seen these stories. It's not fiction that children will be distributed to the aunties, will be distributed to the grandparents because the mother or the spouse na nabilin needs to go abroad and work so that they will have something to eat. However, if there's something that would replace the income earner or the breadwinner, that's another story. And this is now what we call an insurance policy. That means an insurance policy should be taken to replace the lost income of the breadwinner. However, in a survey, 90% said that yes, importante yun ang life insurance. We need to get it. However, to be honest, less than 3% ra ang insurance penetration din sa Philippines. Included pa na siya sa tanang mga naay PhilHealth, sa naay mga free HMO from the companies, o kanang mga micro insurances like kanang naa sa mga pawn shops, kini mga small accident insurances. Only 3% of the entire how many million Filipinos. Why? Now I am introducing to you the most common misconceptions why most Filipinos don't buy life insurance. And we are going to at least bust this so that we will realize that anyone can really get a policy. So the first misconception is that I'm still young. So unya na lang ko mopalitan na o bidaran ako because I need to enjoy my income. I would like to introduce John Jun's story. Before he died, at the age of 25, I talked to him 2 years before he died. Talked to him about financial planning. By the way, he used to work BPO industry in Cebu. So the usual millennial, I cannot afford because I'm paying the flat screen TV, I'm paying the digital camera, I just got an aircon. So I really cannot set aside an amount for savings or for insurance. So kinsa may magtuo, 2 years after, he died of actually the same gid siya if naa pa to ang COVID before, exactly the same good. He was admitted in Chongwa on Sunday, just mga 4 days lang. Our total bill was more than 500,000. He did not wanted his family to shoulder the burden, but he did not thought 2 years before he died that I might be a burden to my family when I do not get a policy when something will happen to me. I don't know if this is something negative no of the culture of Filipinos wherein we are really very close as a family. So daghan ta makit-an sa atong mga silingan nga biyahay kayo not working but they can eat 3 times a day even 5 times a day because they can just go to their relatives na may bahaw diha dito pasud-an may pag-cook. But for me, as responsible people ba, especially after we graduated, supposedly our parents dapat nahuman na ilahang obligasyon nato so that they can enjoy their retirement. Because if something will happen to us, dili ta mo balik to mama, balik to papa. By the way, Junjun is our youngest brother. I think 13 years ang gap namo. So dili kay medyo close kay sayo man mi nag marriage akong duha kay suon sunod nako. So tanang mga gadgets ngayong paliton wala gid na siya maghasol namo. So I believe ba asa man siya karon di gid niya gusto nga maghasol me. In fact, this happened to him katong grabe na gid iyang pneumonia. Di gid siya magpa-admit. So I asked him how come na amang kay health insurance? Nga di man mo gamiton. Sa basin kuwangon ko gamita na. So I was able to convince him to use it and sakto yun, it was maxed out. Aside from the 100 kapin nga nabayad sa iyang insurance, we're still able to shell out mga 500,000 in just 4 days. Sickness and death is not only for the old these days, especially this pandemic. The next misconception about getting an insurance policy is that it's only for the rich. Only the rich can afford a life insurance policy. Now, the rich already has money, but they still get insurance policies bisag bugat para nila. Why I say bugat? Because these rich clients of ours do not pay also 1,500, 3,000, 2,000 per month. I have even a client I was just able to talk a while ago because she's paying a premium of more than 2 million per year because she got her policy at age 60. But she doesn't have a choice. I mean, going back on the purpose of insurance, these rich people are bright in math. They don't want to use their own money if something would happen. That's why they go to an insurance company, pay the premium of whatever coverage that company can give them. However, kita unta or katong atong mga kaila nga barely have nothing, sila ang dapat mukuha og policy. Because they don't have money if something will happen. The third misconception is that I will get it when I have enough money. By the way, there is no such thing as you will have enough money. Based on experience, whether you like it or not, isa kapila pa na i-increase ang imong sweldo. your expenses will go after you. What I'm trying to say is that time will not come. You need to be intentional. Let's say, for example, cell phones right now is something that one cannot live without, considering millennials ba. How can we really find a way to buy the brand or the model of cell phone you want? It's because you see it's a need. Unless one realizes that he is a breadwinner and his income needs to be protected, bisan pag unsang kwartaha ang maabot mo increase, bisag unsa pang lutuha yang madagkan, dili gyud na siya mong palit og insurance. Because if you are struggling right now ba, you barely have enough. How much more if one of the members of the family gets diagnosed of a critical illness? Wala na gani ka karon, doctor will ask you pa to raise 501 million pesos for your spouse or for your brother to be treated. So going back, may panangutang na lang day ko to pay the premium so that if this would happen, I will not be in debt tomorrow pagyapon. Wala ka mo palit because you don't have money. What you didn't realize is that getting an insurance policy will get you out of debt. Dili ka magkautang-utang. The fourth misconception, mostly ang among madunggan ani nga mo object is ang mga wives. Ayaw lang na kay additional expense. Naglisod na gani ko sa amo ang budget ron, imo pag yung punan, bayad pag na. Kaya daghan mo gyud mga monthly bayranan. Nya, going back on what I mentioned earlier nga kung sa pag-increase imong salary, dili gyud na nimo maingon nga naa kay matigom because mo increase man sa imong appetite. For example, before magload-load lang ka data, pag increase imong salary, ano dili man ko mo subscribe o pinakapaspas nga bandwidth sa dito, di ba? So, ma-increase ang imong appetite, ma-increase ang imong lifestyle. Now, the good thing with life insurance, it is the only expense that will pay for these expenses. Meaning, yes, this is part of your list of expenses. But if something will happen to the breadwinner, ako pungutana, will this bill still be paid? Of course, yes. Kinsa may mabayad doon, wala naman siya trabaho. But if naa siya part din sa iyahang gibayran kada buwan na life insurance policy, that portion of that expenses will continue to pay for these monthly expenses if the breadwinner or if the policy insured gets disabled, dies prematurely, or gets critically ill. Nice, no? It's an expense, but it is the only expense that pays for future expenses. Mahal kay ron ang cost of living. Okay, I will share this to you. How much is the cost of dying in the Philippines?
Everything is getting expensive these days, no? Mahal ang bilihin, mahal ang pamasahe, mahal ang gas. In short, mahal mabuhay. Pero naisip mo rin ba na ang mahal din mamatay? Death is something we usually avoid talking about because it's too morbid, too sensitive, and too serious. But not talking about it is the same reason why we fail to prepare for it. Death leaves a huge emotional burden and a heavy financial burden to our family too. Let's see what you have to prepare financially when the time comes you have to really rest in peace. For mortuary care and coffin, securing the services of a small funeral parlor costs about 8,000 to 10,000 pesos. But if you're feeling posh, the high-end option could set you back by around 30,000 to 500,000 pesos. Huge leap, huh? But wait, there's more. You also have to spend for the lamay or wake. The rent for a viewing chapel is around 2,000 to 5,000 pesos per day. Snacks would cost about 5,000. If you want an upgrade from the usual mani, kape, at biscuit combo, prepare to spend more. Catering services would be around 50,000 pesos. After the lamay, whether it's getting a cremation or the traditional burial, you will still have to cough up more money. Not all cremations are the same, by the way. There's the regular option, which costs about 10,000 to 20,000 pesos. And you have the powder fine option, which costs about 150,000 pesos. For burial, an apartment-type nicho in a public cemetery could set you back by 300 to 1,000 pesos a year, while a private cemetery would cost about 500,000 to 1,000,000 pesos. Tapos, may monthly amortization pa. In total, you would spend up to about 700,000 if you want cremation or about 2,000,000 pesos for a burial. The mounting expenses could literally leave you breathless. Ang daming desisyon na kailangan gawin, and each decision has an equivalent cost. And the sad fact is, your family will shoulder this burden, not you. And just when you think you're done with all the expenses, you would be surprised, ang dami pang gastos. There could be hospital bills or debts you might leave behind that they will need to settle. Malungkot na nga sila na wala ka na. Mas lulungkot pa sila dahil ang dami mong pang iniwang gastos. Now, maybe you have some savings. But any money or property you leave behind will be in what we call an estate freeze. In simple terms, estate means all of the money or property a person leaves behind when they pass away. Your family can only access your estate once they've complied with all the government requirements like filing necessary documents and paying for the estate tax. Settling the estate tax could also be pretty expensive depending on the value of your estate. So how will your family pay for all these? The answer? Life insurance. If you have life insurance, all your family has to do is to present a death certificate and some supporting documents, and they will be able to claim your insurance benefits. So even if your estate is frozen, they will still have funds to use to give you a proper burial and to let you rest in peace. Getting life insurance is a sensible and practical choice. And for those you would leave behind, it's a stable form of financial support.
Asa may mas mahal? Living or dying? Okay. The fifth misconception, okay, why a lot of Filipinos don't buy life insurance. So why I keep mentioning Filipinos? Because in Western countries man good, depending on the country, but I learned that they need to get an insurance policy when they're 18 because dakpon sila sa gobyerno. Dini sa Pilipinas, no. So, wala pa kayo trabaho, so nara ka sa balay, for as long as your parent really loves you, pakanon ka diha. And everybody will be open to help. But mo lagi, until pila raman ang matabang. The fifth misconception is, I don't need it now. When you buy a car from the casa, brand new, why is it nga naaman gyud siya spare tire? Bisag unsa ka bag-o, bisag unsa ka bagga yang ligid, bisag unsa ka fresh from the casa, anong kinahanglan mo sa spare tire? Because of the idea that nobody knows kanus ma-flat tire. And this is the same concept with buying insurance. Yes, you don't need it now. Unfortunately, you cannot buy insurance if you need it already. Ano man, this is also a business. Only healthy individuals can buy insurance. You don't need it now because I'm healthy, I'm young. Anya na ka mapalit o na-hypertensive na ka, taas na imong sugar. Unfortunately, dili na pud kadawaton. Because insurance is a privilege and not a right. The company has the right to decline, suspend, or postpone an application if the applicant is not super healthy. Now, consider this. Ngano mamili man ang company? Kung kinsa ri ang dawaton. Kung nakay 2,000 or 2,000, it earns an interest in the bank 3 pesos. But if imong 2,000, may himong 2,300, will you invested it? But dili sa kapa, dili sa organiko because they give more pero nawagtang na pudron. However, If you put your 2,000 pesos and i-convert na into 1 million, it's called an insurance. Asa man ka na nga deal, not even the biggest banks in the entire universe will give you that offer. No bank can give you that offer. Basi na mingon nga, ano lagi ang Metrobank nag-offer man sila. It's not a bank product, by the way. It's an insurance product sold by the bank, still offered by an insurance company. Insurance money is the cheapest money in the world, payable when able. It's a penny for a dollar. Asa man ka mangita ana? Kumbaga, na ko'y mail ron, you talk to your financial advisor, your agent na, sure ka ha, I'll give you 2,000 now, I'm healthy, if something will happen to me, you will give 1 million to my family. Yes, it's true. Okay, so now we know that unsa ka importante ang insurance. Now we know that there's magic in creating money where there was none. So, mga tanas at especially for those nga naa karoy mga insurance coverages, ano na yung mga policy. How much GDI ang ideal coverage to replace your income if something will happen to you? How much is enough? Okay, nice suggestion. If imong children daw are more than 10 years old, dapat ang imong insurance is times 5 sa imong annual income. Just to give you a very simple computation, let's say for example, imong income is 20,000 a month, times 12, that's 240,000. 240,000 times 5, that should be your ideal insurance coverage. 1.2 million if ang imuhang mga anak is more than 10 years old. That's suggested, I'm not saying it's really the ideal coverage. The next suggestion is, if your children are less than 5 years old, your insurance should be equivalent to 10 years of your annual income. So ganina, 1.2 ra, so dapat ka mukuha ideally of 2.4 million coverage to cover for 10 years. Unsay pasabot ani? So if something will happen to the breadwinner, the next 10 years, dili sila mo problema asa gastuhon. Because the insurance proceeds will replace the lost income, 20,000 a month. But going back on the video earlier that I shared to you regarding how expensive is dying in the Philippines, kanang iyang makuha nga 2.4 million, makuhaan pa na. Depende sa ipalubong, depende unsa nga plan ang i-avail sa St. Peter. Kay mostly, kanang magipang-avail na to sa St. Peter are just the basic plans. What we don't know, may uban nga, di na ka pinalang makuha ang insurance because I have St. Peter. Okay. What they don't know is that the plan that you got is a basic plan. Right now, it's a decent plan. But 10 years, 15, 20 years from now, you're not going to get that decent plan gihapon nga naman. Because whatever will be the future cost of that decent plan right now, mo na imong bayaran. So kung imong gi-avail is that, let's say, worth lang of mga 100,000 nga package, karon 20 years from now, mihimo na siyang 500,000, then you're going to pay the balance of 400,000. I hope the agent told you that. But ideally yun, kung mahimo ang pinaka-sakto gid nga computation on how to determine kung pila gyud ang dapat nimo nga kuhaon nga life insurance coverage is, you need to protect your income until your youngest graduates college. So this is a short exercise lang that we're going to do to compute how much is the ideal insurance coverage. Okay, let's say for example, Sir Wilbin, good evening sir. How much is your monthly income, sir?
50K.
Okay. So your monthly income is 50,000. That is total of 600,000 in a year. Pila edad si mong youngest, sir, Welbin?
5.
5. Okay. Normally right now with K-12, mag-graduate ang bata at age what? Age 20?
20.
Before it's
Also, nakikita yun. 22. Probably.
22, okay. At age 22. Usually, may pariha na to ng trabaho dayon. Usually mo, pahuway pa na ko sa katuig, then siguro ika-age 24 pa na siya mo trabaho. Okay, so that means, hopefully, independent na siya na nato. So, 24 minus 5, that's 19 years. Meaning, Sir Wilbin, ideally, you need to protect your income in the next 19 years so that should anything would happen, your youngest will surely graduate college. Wala pa gani ko mag-mention na kaning 50,000 mo increase ni siya year on year. Diba? So I'm just trying to murag compute as if the lifestyle did not increase. So ang dapat gyuday nga coverage ideally, sir, will be nga imong kuhaon ay 600,000 times 19 years. Dapat na kay a total of 11.4 million, sir, na insurance. Well, to be honest, mostly, no, when we show this to them, dili gid sila ka-afford. But as financial advisors, our job is to let them know na should anything would happen, sir, mao gini dapat. So that dili ko mabaso sa imong wife nga nganong wala man nimo tagaig mas dako nga kaya man to niya. Some settle for just like 50% of this one or even 25%, but at least we've done our job that the client would know nga when the time nga ma-okay ang budget, especially during our review, at least open me for a possibility of increasing or upgrading his coverage. As of the moment, Sir Wilbin, naana ba kayo mga insurance coverages from your company,
Yes,
from
sir.
other companies? Pilay total sum assured, sir?
1.4?
1.4. O, so kung 1.4 na si sir, ito i-deduct, napatay shortfall nga 10 million. At least, you know that already, sir. Thank you for participating, Sir Wilbin. So, are we now ready to get a policy? Wait, ato sang tan-awon, unsa atong kwaon. So, we're going to differentiate right now the difference between a traditional policy and a variable universal life or an InsurVest with this short video.
Insurance. We all need it. But is it clear to us why exactly? Essentially, insurance is protection. But what does it protect us against? Every family has a breadwinner, at least one or two if both parents earn income. Now, there are 4 threats to a breadwinner's capacity to earn income: premature death, disability, getting diagnosed with a critical illness, and old age, retirement. Insurance is a way to protect the family's income and way of life from these threats. This is what's called family protection. There are multiple types of life insurance products. Let's zero in on 2: traditional life insurance and variable unit-linked life insurance, also called investment-linked life insurance. Let's break it down further. If you have what's called traditional life insurance, you are provided a protection benefit plus savings equivalent to a cash value. Cash value allows you to loan from the savings to spend for a need like a source of cash for certain purchases, emergency fund, supplement for retirement funds. This cash value is also called a living benefit because you enjoy it while you're still living. Do note, however, that interest charges still apply to policy loans, and if you're unable to pay it back, this will be deducted to your death benefit, so we must be responsible when enjoying the living benefit. There are 2 types of traditional life insurance: permanent and temporary, also known as whole life and term life. Whole life insurance covers the insured person for their entire life. He or she stands to receive the death benefit or payout upon passing away. There are 3 types you can choose from, depending on the payment method. There's regular pay, where you have to pay for the whole life coverage for your, well, whole life too. Then we have the limited pay, where you'll pay for the whole life coverage for a limited time only, say 5, 7, 10, or 15 years. Lastly, we have the single pay, where you'll pay for the whole life coverage once. Whole life also gives the insured the chance to accrue cash value in the form of savings or earnings. On the other hand, term life insurance only guarantees the death benefit for a limited period of time, say within 1, 5, 10, or 15 years only. At the same time, you're only required to pay for the plan during the years you are covered too. So for term, if the insured survives beyond the period specified in the plan, then the protection benefit expires. However, the insured does have the option to renew the term life insurance for another term if he or she wants to continue it. Now, what about investment-linked life insurance? As the name suggests, this type of life insurance has an investment component on top of the protection provided. It also requires higher premiums than traditional products because a portion of it is set aside for funds invested in stocks, bonds, and/or other types of financial assets managed by expert fund managers. You should select a fund that matches your financial objectives and risk appetite. This living benefit or cash benefit is known as fund value. Because of this feature, investment-linked life insurance offers potential faster growth of your money versus the traditional products and their cash value.
Of the three traditional policies, I'm going to at least explain what term insurance is if comparable ba siya sa VUL. I think natay mga sakyan na, no? We're paying car insurance every year. If nothing will happen, you throw away that money as if wala na, then you pay again. Because you're only paying for the cost of insurance. Now, going back sa term insurance na idea, you're only paying for the insurance, but because it's term or temporary, only for specific number of years. Para nako, basing on this table, these two cannot be compared because term life insurance alone is only insurance. If we talk of VUL or Variable Universal Life or InsurAvest, it comes with insurance plus savings man. So di siya comparable. It can only be compared, siguro inyohang nadungga, no, kaning gitawag og BTID. BTID stands for buy term insurance, then invest the difference. Okay, just to give you an idea, ha, from left to right. Sa BTID, ang ilang suggestion is you buy term insurance because it's cheap. Let's say, for example, lang for a 30-year-old buying a 1 million peso coverage, 3,000 ra imong bayaran. While sa VUL, most likely na sa mga 18,000 per year. Pinaka-minimum na, depende pa na sa mga riders na nadiha. Also, sa term insurance, investing in the difference, you can also attach riders, any accident and hospitalization benefits. However, sa VUL, lahi ang iyahang mahatag na health benefits aside from hospitalization because it can also attach a rider, what we call a critical illness rider, that can give a lump sum money regardless of ang client magpa-hospital ba or dili. Going back sa hospitalization benefits sa term insurance, bayaran lang up to a portion kung pila ra ang cost sa imong hospitalization. When you go home, wala na coverage. However, this is a sad truth, no, of term insurance, and this is worldwide. The info that I got these figures is that he attended the a life insurance convention. Only 2% of all the term insurances stays in force. So, unsibot pasabot ana. Term insurance mo yearly renewable. If you buy term right now, you need to pay again next year for you to be covered again. However, na may mga chances nga ang agent mo hawa, so wala maka-remind nimo, or ikaw na busy, wala nimo ma-appeal sa imong lista of payables, na lapse. And these are only one of the reasons. But based on statistics, only 2% of all term insurances around the world are enforced. Now that's on insurance. However, we're talking man of the investment. So asa man dapitang investment din eh. On the investment side, because ingon man siya no, buy term insurance and invest the difference. Ang VUL, by the way, kung moadto ta og Jollibee, it's already a package meal. So, what will you get if you buy a meal or a Jolly meal? Diba? Na ang chicken, nanang rice, nana ang soft drink or soda. Kung imo i-try og paliton siya tagsa-tagsa, mo come out siya mas mahal. So I'm not saying if you're going to buy term and investment difference mas mamahal ka, but this is what will happen. Okay? In VUL, ang imong investment or imong savings is incorporated sa imong premium. So kada bayad di mo, part na diha ang payment sa insurance ug ang padong sa investment. In BTID, lahi nga company imong gipalitan sa insurance, lahi sad nga company imong gi-investan. So asa man ka mo invest. Now you can perhaps entertain mutual funds. Okay, if you don't have kanang murag the time gani nga mo tan-aw gyud sa trading, kay naa na specific time pod nga dapat ka mo baligya mo palit, then dapat naasad kay wide gyud nga idea unsa nga mga stocks ang paliton. So if you are not the type of guy, dili para nimo ang BTID. I'm not saying nga one is better than the other. I'm just trying to say nga kung unsa nga type ka nga tao, mo nimo paliton. Okay, arita sa mga manindang isda. Wa ta kibawad, mas dagham na sila kwarta nato because pila go na ilang kita kada adlaw. Imo siya nga ton, ma'am, BTID ta ma'am. Palit ka na kong term niya. I-download din sa imong cellphone, ni ikaw ay trade ma'am. You don't have the time. Sa'yo ko na sila mamata. Wala basira ba? Atos pasil. You don't have the time. So might as well, tagaan na to siya VUL because nana diya tanan. But for a person nga has the time, na gusto more control, the investment side, then pwede siya sa BTID. Another lang po disadvantage ako nakita, no? Mo terminate mo siya at a certain time. Let's say for example, 15 years lang ka-covered. 30 years old plus 15, that's 45 years old. When hitabo, you outlive your policy. 45 na ka. Pwede ka mo renew o another 15 years. Or what if at age 45, dako na imong hawak? Medyo borderline na imong sugar. May possibility nga dili ka makarenew. Well, kung naka-VUL ka, you are covered until age 100. And swerte na biya kay ang mga tao ron nga makaabot anang idara. Okay? So, depende ra gid ni. If one wants to have control, so siya mag-invest, siya mag-trade. Pag nakanindot og VUL ka, not only that you have someone to ask ba, oy, kumusta naman akong policy daw, i-remind ba ako ha? Okay, because you have a financial advisor. And with regards to investing the funds also, naman tayo own fund manager. Si Spring Investment. And in fact, for how many years na, this is the biggest in Asia. So can you imagine how big the fund it's managing? I hope, no, you formulated your questions based on what we've discussed, although the objective is just for you to, get the right questions so that you can ask the financial advisor that invited you kung unsa tibot pasabot ato. Okay? What is important is that we will have an idea unsa ka importante to get an insurance policy. Number 2, unsa ka advantageous kung VUL atong kuhaon. If you are not the type of person nga kadigining ma-sure gyud nga mabayaran gyud ang term insurance o maka-trade gyud personally. What I can assure you lang gyud is that there are problems that only life insurance can solve. But before we end this forum, let me leave you with this video.
Okay. Daddy is the sweetest daddy in the world. Daddy is the most handsome, the smartest, the most clever, the kindest. He is my Superman. Daddy wants me to do well at school. Daddy is just great, but he lies. He lies about having a job. He lies about having money. He lies that he's not tired. He lies that he's not hungry. He lies that we have everything. He lies about his happiness. He lies because of me.
What the video would like to tell us is that there is this daddy everywhere. In fact, pwede na kita. We have dreams for our families, we have dreams for our children, but what will stop us from pursuing that dream? Critical illness, untimely death, disability, accidental death. But if we have something that will replace that lost income, that's another story. Your child will continue to finish college. Your family will have the same roof. You don't need to sell the house for them to have food on the table. And that's how noble this profession of ours is. That's why, aside from showing you how important life insurance is, we also would like to invite you to be advocates. Because we cannot tell your friends of this good news, only you. But for you to really know how is it to become a financial advisor, especially with pro-life, I believe we need another session for that. So just communicate with your financial advisors or those who invited you. If you will be interested in another session, we'll just schedule that. Thank you, Kayo, for joining.